Have you ever asked, what is it all about? A group of pagan sailors on a routine voyage encountered a runaway prophet, a heaven-sent storm, probing questions, honest answers, confessions, acceptance, and finally a change of heart, mind, spirit, and actions toward Yehovah. In the end, they encountered the answer to the universal question, what is it all about? My friends, we're going to do something a bit radical. We're going to use the Hebrew Bible as our control text rather than the English Bible in terms of this series. This first pilot series will end in Jonah chapter 1, verse 16. And I almost feel like there should be like red lights. Wait a minute, red alert. What are you talking about? We haven't gotten to the big fish. We haven't gotten to the whale. That's because the whale doesn't start. The big fish doesn't start in the Hebrew Bible until chapter 2, verse 1. We find this sort of thing in English Bibles. I don't know if you know it or not, but the verses were not like original. Yehovah didn't say, no, make this verse 7, make this verse 8. In the Hebrew Bible, and oftentimes the Hebrew Bible will go according to the verses in the English Bible, but the Hebrew Bible does something even more amazing in terms of how it does breaks and verses. And so we're going to go with the Hebrew Bible that ends in 1:16. Now I want to give you a quick little perspective here. If we go with the Hebrew chapters, chapter 1 is Jonah in a ship. Chapter 2 is Jonah in a really big fish. Chapter 3 is Jonah in Nineveh. And chapter 4 is Jonah in a sukkah. I mean, it's kind of cool to me. I'm looking at 4 potential seasons here, 4 levels. I'm looking at 4 different entire seasons we can do. This is only season 1. This is a pilot season. This is where I'm going to ask you to give us your input as we put this out. Hopefully it's going to go everywhere. I'd love to see it translated into different languages so people can all have the chance to get to the Hebrew language. Now, let's do something. Let's go to 1:16. At this, the NIV says, the men greatly feared the Lord, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord and made vows to him. That's the NIV. And since this is our last verse, can I give you the JPS? The men feared the Lord greatly. They offered a sacrifice to the Lord and they made vows. Now notice that the NIV and the JPS are almost identical except for the switch of the position of the word greatly. So the men greatly feared, NIV, the men feared the Lord greatly. Now, do you remember what we covered in 1:10? In 1:10, it says, this terrified them. And we were dealing with this 3-letter root, Yud, Resh, Aleph. The intensification of their emotion expressed by the internal accusative. Again, that's the JPS commentary dealing with when we see this word, it's Vayreu ha'anashim yir'ah gedolah. Now let's see some other biblical examples that use our same template of verb, noun, adjective as an internal accusative. If we go to Ezekiel 8, verse 18, although they shout in my ears, there are 2 words there, kol gadol. 2 Samuel 15:23, the whole countryside wept aloud. We again see the same 2 words, kol gadol. Now, in our verse, we see yir'ah gedolah. The adjective has to match. This is the way it works. The words have to match. And in our biblical Hebrew, I won't say it again, you get a chance to see this and it would make complete sense. And so when it says, at this, the men greatly feared the Lord, or the men feared the Lord greatly, here's what I see happening. The progression, 1:5, the sailors feared. 1:10, the men feared a great fear. And in 1:16, no longer are they sailors, and no longer are they just fearing a great fear. The men feared Yehovah with a great fear. Jonah, the author, is pointing us back to the testimony of Jonah the prophet. Jonah the prophet said this, Yehovah I fear. And I didn't get a chance to really go into detail on word order there, but it's et Yehovah, vayet Yehovah, Yehovah I fear, revere, and honor. The Phoenician pagans started out as sailors and became men who fear, revere, and honor Yehovah in word and deed. Now you got to ask yourself, how is that? I see three possibilities now. Let me give you the verse in Jonah 1:16 NIV. And they offered a sacrifice to the Lord, and they made vows to him. And then the JPS says the men feared the Lord greatly. They offered a sacrifice to the Lord, and they made vows. So there are three possibilities of how they sacrificed to sacrifice. Now think about it. Did they have animals, clean animals down in the hole where Jonah was? And did they bring those animals up for a sacrifice? That's certainly one possibility. Two, they considered Jonah the sacrifice. Remember, they lifted him up and offered him to Yehovah. But there's a third possibility. Maybe they sacrificed a sacrifice and vowed a vow in a biblical way. Hosea chapter 14, verse 3. Take words with you and return to Yehovah. Say to him, forgive all guilt and accept what is good. Instead of bulls, we will pay the offering of our lips. Can I also give you the JPS? Take words with you and return to Yehovah. Say to him, forgive all our sins and receive us graciously, that we may offer the fruit of our lips. I love this verse. Can I give you the Keith Johnson version, the Lost in Translation version of Hosea chapter 14, verse 2? Lift up words and return to Yehovah. Say to him, you will lift up, carry, bear, forgive all iniquity, guilt, sin. Then we will pay, offer complete for the cows, sacrifice, offering with our lips, our mouths, are our words. Notice also 14:3 is the English, 14:2 is the Hebrew. But in either way, what it's saying is beyond the cows, beyond the sacrifice, there is a way for there to be a sacrifice through prayer. I love this. Psalms 50:14, sacrifice a thank offering to God and pay your vows to the Most High. Now we're talking about, and they vowed vows. Proverbs 7:14, I had to make a sacrifice of well-being, and today I filled my vows. That's the JPS. There seems to be a connection between sacrificing and vowing, and that's exactly what these pagan sailors are saying. This is what the author is letting us know. They sacrificed a sacrifice, and they vowed a vow to Yehovah, and we can do the same. We have been working behind the scenes with the best producer you can imagine. Our producer has been working to make this as understandable as possible with the graphics and all of that, but we need you to participate with us. Like, comment, share, subscribe, push the bell icon, and let's keep studying in the Deep Dive Bible Study into the book of Jonah. Did you guys catch what Jonah the author is doing here? He is connecting the pagans with two biblical acts: to sacrifice a sacrifice and to vow a vow. But that sacrifice is a sacrifice to Yehovah, and those vows are vows to Yehovah. These men connected these two acts. Now, here's what I'd like to do. Can we now go to the Lost in Translation section where we get to hear the Keith Johnson version? I can't believe we're already at 1:16, which ends Jonah chapter 1 in Hebrew. Now, again, I know everyone's like, well, wait, the promo has the big fish, and where's the big, when do we, if we can only get to that. I'm telling you, folks, if we ever get to season 2 on this, and even if we don't go to season 2 in this way, I'm going to make sure that behind level 3 of the Biblical Hebrew audio course, we have the teaching available of chapters 2, chapters 3, and chapters 4, because I've already done it. My friend Dr. Moster and I have spent hours and hours and hours and hours going over language, history, and context, the grammatical, the biblical Hebrew, the consonants, the vowels, the accents, and the Masoretic notes. There's even more. Even in chapter 1, there is even more. I have been so blessed to be able to look at a page and see the consonants and the vowels and the accents, which are the ta'amim. These are like the musical notes. And then the Masoretic notes, where the Masoretes who knew the Bible inside and out can tell us where a word is used and the way it's used. I mean, I'm overwhelmed. I'm blessed, and I just want that blessing to be passed on to you. So here we go. The Keith Johnson version, Jonah chapter 1, verse 16. Then the men feared with great reverence Yehovah. I love that translation. You ain't gonna find that translation. Then the men feared with great reverence Yehovah. Then they sacrificed a sacrifice to Yehovah, and they vowed vows. I think it's really interesting, folks. Of all the words in the first chapter of Jonah, there is one word that is very prominent. And I bet you can guess what that one word is. I talked about it in the first episode. It is the word Yehovah. We find in 16 verses Yehovah's name, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. We find it in 11 times in 16 verses. In other words, he is behind everything. It's as if Yehovah is shouting from the page. Here we're dealing with pagans and a disobedient prophet, and here's this holy name that is too holy to pronounce and too powerful to handle and too profound to understand, and it's placed in the Hebrew Bible in the first chapter, in our first season, 11 different times in one chapter. Every time I look up, I'm seeing Yehovah. And not only am I seeing Yehovah as the one who cast the storm, I'm finding Yehovah is the one that the pagans are speaking. It's out of their mouth. So can I do something, folks? I would like to, if it's okay, I want to give you the KJV of Jonah chapter 1, 8 through 16. I just want to read it for us. And I'm going to try to take my time and read it just the way I understand it. Here's what they said, 8 to 16. Then they said to him, "Tell us now, O one who has brought this evil upon us!" ! What is your business? From where are you coming? What is your land? And who are your people? Jonah responded to them, "Hebrew I am. And it is Yehovah, God of the heavens, that I fear, or I am a fearer of, who made the sea and the dry land, or the dry ground." Then the men feared with a great fear. And they said to him, "What is this you have done?" ! For the men knew that from the presence of Yehovah he was fleeing, because he told them. Verse 11. Then they said to him, "What should we do to you so that the sea might," this is the Jessiv, "it might quiet from upon us? For the sea was going and storming." He said to them, "Lift me up and pitch me to the sea, so that the sea will." Jonah's like, he's making a statement. I don't think it's just a fear. I think Jonah's saying it will. It will quiet from upon y'all. For I know that because of me, this great storm is upon y'all. But the men dug into the water with their own efforts. They went deeper to return to the dry land, but they were not able, for the sea was going and storming upon them. Then they called to Yehovah, the one true God. And they said, "Please, Yehovah!" ! "Please do not let us perish on account of the soul of this man. Do not set upon us clean, blameless, innocent blood. For you are," underline that, "for you are Yehovah. As you will, you do." Then they lifted up Jonah and they pitched him to the sea, and the sea stood from its rage. Then the men feared with great reverence Yehovah, and they sacrificed a sacrifice to Yehovah, and they vowed vows. I'm wondering, you guys, I don't know, I didn't get a chance to tell you language, history, and context. The prophet Micah is actually a contemporary of Jonah. And I wonder if Jonah, the author, might have known this passage I want to share with you. I wonder if Jonah, the author, was aware of this passage from his contemporary, the prophet Micah. Micah 6, 6 through 8. "With what shall I approach Yehovah and bow myself to God on high? Shall I approach him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Would Yehovah be pleased with thousands of rams, with myriads of streams of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for my sins? He has told you, O pagan, O man, O woman, O child, O Christian, O Muslim, O Jewish person, what is good, or any other religion. And what Yehovah requires of you, only to do justice, to love goodness, and to walk humbly with your God. I believe this is what it's about. I love the fact that even in this situation, we've got a disobedient person who was a prophet and then became a prophet, and we've got pagans who are polytheistic, and we've got a captain, and all of it, it comes down to this. What does he require? Do justice, love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. May it be that we do that also. Hey folks, I found this when I actually taped the promo for this series. It's a shark tooth. We are taking territory, and we're going to do that with your help. We need you to like. We need you to comment. We need you to share. Embed it on your website if you'd like. Let's keep sending this message around the world about the deep dive Bible study into the book of Jonah. Hey folks, you're back. I'm so glad. I'm reading my book, His Hallowed Name Revealed Again. Why am I reading it? It's reminding me of the 3 T's: God's time, God's Torah, and His Tetragrammaton. I've actually wrote a book called Prayer to Our Father, Hebrew to Origins of the Lord's Prayer, and this book, His Hallowed Name Revealed Again. But I want to make sure that you understand 100% what I'm doing. And one of the things they say, that if you really want to be clear, say it again, and maybe someone's going to catch it that didn't catch it before. I have made available the first 7 lessons of the Biblical Hebrew audio course for free. Say free. I have made the second level 7 days free, where you can test it and see for yourself through our Academy Premium Content Library. What I would like to ask you to do before we get to the end of this is to take one more look from start to finish, a few minutes, explaining how this works. This has been an amazing thing to people around the world. We have Academy members from around the world that are enjoying information, inspiration, and revelation, and I would love for you to enjoy it too.
Dear friend, at Biblical Foundations Academy International, we believe that God reveals His will and His way through His Word, and we want to help you understand it in an exciting way. We promise to continuously bring you what we consider to be lightning in a bottle through our video presentations, and you can now experience it for yourself in our Academy Premium Content Library. Imagine yourself sipping a cup of tea or coffee in the morning, tablet in hand, or maybe crunching into an apple during lunch with your smartphone propped up on your desk. Or perhaps settling into your favorite chair after a long day of work, laptop open, ready to dig deeper into the things of God. In our Academy, you'll have 24/7 access to a digital library filled with resources that will bring biblical language, history, and context alive for you. These presentations will equip you to understand and apply God's instruction in your life, wherever and whenever you are available. We have produced over 50 engaging presentations, making for a year's worth of weekly viewing. You'll get immediate access to Time Will Tell Season 1, filmed by Keith Johnson in Rome and Israel. The Road to Reformation series, outlining 8 steps to biblical reformation. His Hallowed Name, remastered and including a special update on God's name. The Now is the Time series, including the popular Christmas special. The 18-hour Open Door Live Teaching series with guest Nehemiah Gordon, the Right on Time series, the Growing Biblical Brick Teaching series, Premium Scripture Bites, bringing you ancient Hebrew Bible studies, one bite-sized portion at a time, and so much more to come. For as little as $9.99 a month or $99 a year, you'll get access to the entire BFA Premium Content Library. As an added bonus, you'll also have access to well over 100 other resources on the BFA International site, including dramatized readings, original songs, radio shows, and much more. When you join the Premium Content Library, you are helping us with the cost of producing even more inspirational content. In other words, your support will help us support you. And now, we've decided to throw the doors of the library wide open. For a full 7 days, we are offering you free membership. There's no need to wait any longer. You'll now be able to try it out for free and make sure you are completely satisfied before you pay anything. So start today. Upgrade your free membership now. Simply enter the Academy, then use the Premium Content Library dialog box on the right. If you are not already a free member, Simply visit bfainternational.com and click Enter the Academy button to get started. So what are you waiting for? Enter the premium content library today.
I don't know if we can ever get a chance to do this, folks. I've got a CD in the back of this with 80 different descriptions with music. It's amazing. That's the book. We've got audio, we've got video, we've got written material. I hope you take advantage of it. BFA International, inspiring people around the world to build a biblical foundation for their faith.
Visit BFAinternational.com today and join our online academy for free. You'll get immediate access to start watching all of Keith Johnson's latest programs, including the Time Will Tell series, Rediscovering God's Clock from Israel and Beyond, the Now is the Time miniseries, based in New York City and Washington, D.C., The Road to Reformation, a 10-step study for biblical reformation, the Open Door series, 18 hours of exciting teaching from a national speaking tour, His Hallowed Name, a series on God's name that was banned from TV. Also, hear directly from Keith Johnson through weekly personal blog updates. Why delay? Visit bfainternational.com right now. Then click the Enter the Academy button. Visit us today.
What's that sound I hear? That's right, folks. You have done it. If you've been with us, you have been able to use language, history, and context. You've been able to use pronunciation, explanation, translation, and if you stay with us, you're even going to be able to use application to open up your English Bible. I hope you've taken advantage of that. I'd like to end with a really, really special prayer that is something we find in Numbers chapter 6. Yehovah tells the people, he says, listen, place my name upon my people in this way. And literally he says, say these words to them. So what I'd like to do, if it's okay, is I would like to say this prayer for all of you that are listening. I hope you'll take advantage of the information that we have. For example, on the name, I mean, we've got free information. There's so many things, so many revelations that have come out as a result. But what I'd like to do is be able to say this prayer in Numbers chapter 6 out of the Hebrew Bible, 6 verse 24, and let's pray. Yivarechecha Yehovah vayishmerecha. Ya'er Yehovah panav elecha vayichuneka. Yisa Yehovah panav elecha vayisim lecha shalom. May Yehovah bless you and guard and protect and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his face to you and set to you peace, or upon you peace. And then he goes on to say, and they shall set my name upon the sons of Israel, and I indeed will bless them. He has blessed me. I want to be a blessing to you so that you can be a blessing to others. You know, folks, we do not have to be ashamed of the fact that there's that person side of us and that prophetic side of us, and sometimes they don't always mix. But in the end, we have a God that loves us with an unending love. And I believe that love is being displayed in this deep dive Bible study into the book of Jonah. Thank you so much for joining us.